Bruno Fernandes and Anthony Alanga with a Cole Palmer injury decimated our fantasy Premier League teams. It was a March madness of 2 weeks where we had international breaks and FA Cups that all left Chris Wood and Erling Haaland on the injury list. So you would be an April Fool if you didn't do what Tibbs has done, and that is hit the wild card button. We are going to be in for an amazing show. My name is Sid from the FPL Diamond Dogs. We're Sid from the FPL Diamond Dogs. Let's start the show.
I just want to give a clap. I just want to give a clap. I just want to give a clap. I just want to give. Actually, you know what? Actually, you deserve better. You deserve better. A standing ovation. A standing ovation. You deserve better. A standing ovation. Everybody, stand up and just give this man a clap. Give this man a clap. Man spent 14 million. He dropped the money like it was hot. The only thing that happened was this man got burnt.
Can I tell you guys, like, ever since I got to the top, I've just been going down. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was there, I was like, "Ooh, 90K! I'm about to make the comeback of a century." I'm just getting slapped left, right, and center. And the sad part is, and this is what I'll say, because the transfers I was gonna make, I should have made, right? But then if I got Mamush, like you told me to, I would have had money now to get Bruno, which I should have. And then, the way I'd be walking on cloud nine. And then I even forgot, João Pedro. Like, what is that doing? Like, there's so much, like, I will say this, like, I'm throwing this away now. Now I'm throwing this away. And that's why I said, I'm going to wild card. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get back to the promised land. Because now we are in the end game. There's no more international breaks. Okay, there's doubles and whatever. But there are no more international breaks. So now is the end game. We have done our Infinity War. I took my L. Thanos snapped half of my points into existence. But now we are here. And now it's time for retribution. And that is what I'm here for.
All I have to say, it's been so long without football. Tim started explaining, like before we got on this call, Tim starts explaining to me, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna have to wild card this weekend," and I'm like, "Wait, why?" And then Tim's like, "Yeah, no, because I bought Haaland," and I looked at him and I was like, "Wait, you did what?" And I literally forgot this man made the stupid decision of Haaland. And like now I'm looking at my team and I'm like, I see why he did what he did, but like also I see why I did what I did. Because I have 3 injured players, but I had 3 players who didn't play. And guess who my 3 players who didn't play were? Munoz, Salah, and Isaac. Guess what? Easy slipping. Mikalenko comes out, Munoz comes in, Palmer comes out, Salah comes in, Wood comes out. Guess what? Isaac comes in. Hey!
Look at my team. I have Wood, Haaland, and I still haven't got rid of Trent. So Trent was still vibing around in my team, bro. I was still holding on. So then I legitimately had to wild card where there was, because I had to legitimately wild card where I'm like, and I also sold Isaac for Haaland, which is again stupid. Like there was just
You lost money. You actually lost money on Isaac.
Yes, Sid. I hope you're happy.
I'm finding it hilarious, bro. I'm literally finding it hilarious because if I had to sell Isaac, how much would I lose today?
What's 0. I think I was 0.4, 0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. I would have lost 0.4. No, I'd lose 0.4 if I sold Isaac today. The
No,
only
so
man who's gonna get the cut this weekend, ha, is Ice Baby, Ice Cold Palmer, cause he's
oh, that's
dead
right.
in the ground
Oh,
and he's never
can I
coming
tell you,
back.
in my wild
He's
card, there was I can. I'd rather, because I heard Saka is back in training. I would rather have Saka in my team, even though he's not, because he's gonna give me the same level of points, nothing. But then at least Saka is gonna come in and get points when he eventually is fit. So it was, it was a stressful time where I wasn't gonna walk out because I'm like, you know what? I made this choice because I was gonna captain Holland this game week. I was gonna captain Holland this game week, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna ride or die. You know, sometimes you gotta do whatever you do. And then I saw him walking off in crutches after the FA Cup game yesterday, and I'm like, my man, do do you not know the faith? Tim's left out Bruno, the man he's been advocating for this whole season. And Sid, and that's why I said, Sid, I'm angry at you. Because this whole season, I've said Bruno, and you're like, Tims, think with your head. And I said, okay, fine, no Bruno, no Bruno, no Bruno. Then Sid was like, you know what, Tims, why are you listening to me? You're ahead of me. Maybe I should listen to you and get Bruno. And then I've never seen, when I tell
went
you,
away.
I remember that game. Yeah, I see it. I
You
remember
see
that
that?
game. We're gonna go through our teams. Now,
You see the
if
17
we're gonna go
points.
through our teams, forget those 17 points. The sad part is, I've never been more mad at a Man United victory in my life. In my life, the way it was, the way this was everything I've ever dreamed of for the whole season. Just a comfortable, clean sheets and a comfortable goals. We never looked troubled. And I'm like, maybe this is my team. Maybe this is the team that I'm for. And then I just see Bruno just, I'm like, fuck this man, bro.
bruh, bruh, the way I was watching that United game, and I was just going, Bruno, you are the man, you are the savior, you are the legend, because I captained Wood. I'm not even gonna lie to anybody. I captained Wood,
That's not a
and
bad
it
thing. They won 3-0. That's what I said. It wasn't a bad result.
exactly it
If
wasn't
they
a bad
scored three
result.
goals, you would think Wood would be around. You know.
Exactly.
So, so like it wasn't a wrong choice. That's like if they scored three, like Man United scored 3 goals, Bruno was just everywhere. 2 assists and a goal and bonus points. So like it wasn't a wrong decision to captain Wood. It was just like Wood's been scoring by himself. 1-0 Wood, just him. So if they score 3 goals, you're like, nah, Wood. Then international comes and Wood's like, you know what? Let's take this man out. So then I'm like, now I have to. Nah. So it's been a rough couple of days for Tibbs because yeah, obviously Wood and Isaac, I'm not Wood and Haaland got injured. Then I sold Isaac. I think my only fit striker was João Pedro. So then I'm like, I can't go into fantasy like this. So I would recommend wildcarding later, like next week or the week after that. But you know, the my team had insufficient capacity, or not even say insufficient funds, because insufficient funds because I spent all of my funds on Holland, and then at insufficient capacity because my team did not capacitate at all.
I actually want to let me just double check how much do I have in the bank with my team, because I think I have quite a bit of cash in the bank.
Oh
Even
yeah, no. If you sell Palmer, you'll have a lot of cash.
yeah, I mean I have like point 3 mil in the bank.
Yeah, but when you sell Palmer, or if you sell Palmer, because you never know, maybe it's a time to shine. I don't know.
No, Palmer's getting the cut, bro.
Yeah, because he also missed out on internationals for injury, so I don't know. Like he's in training, but I don't know if he's gonna
No,
be.
I'm. You guys will see what I'm about to do.
Okay.
See
So
what I'm
then
about
let's
to
just start the show since we
do.
since we correctly just ruined everything in my life right now. So we start the show as we go through our past game week,
Yeah, I love starting the
and
show this way. I love starting the show this way.
I hate starting the show this way
I love it.
because
I love
the way we were doing it
it.
so well. The way I was on cloud 9, I was vibing. Life was good. Now I'm just seeing red. This is like I think my third red arrow in a row. Like
Bro, I'm getting red arrows, and you know what? It's nice when there's no expectations. I literally, you know what? When I made my transfers, I was like, actually, why am I worried? I'm not worried, cause I'm sitting at 1.7 million. I can't do anything. There's 8 games left of a. What am I gonna do? There's no ways I'm gonna
Sid,
change. Hey,
there's a comeback to happen, Sid.
nah, there's nothing for me to do. I'm just here out here vibing. I'm gonna make the most insane decisions. You're gonna see what real reckless Sid looks like. Cause even this week you're gonna see reckless Sid. You're not gonna
Alright.
see.
Alright. Yeah, so then I went Laddie. So I got 42 points. The average is 40. So I'm like, but I should be above average. You know what I said? I've my beautiful 90K rank that I had those few weeks ago. I'm now down to 260. So I'm like, like the comeback, like that's what I set up. That's why I had to stop the bleed now. I don't want it to get an infection and infect my whole season. So I had to just cut it off now. So then that's why I wildcarded. So I got 42. Cells got me 1 point. Jasharaj. Robinson, Alan Nadi, a nice young 7 points, greatness, but you got him a wild card. 5 points for Gabriel. You stay. Altnori, this pattern Altnori has just never worked all season. We've had for this whole season, and I will say also sad to say in my wild card, he's also gone. So Dango got me 1 point. Doesn't start. Also gone from my team. Matoma, it was a great punt for that 1 week, but he clearly hasn't been worth the squeeze. 1 point. Mbuemo, not bad for a young 6. João Pedro 1, Wood 2, and Haaland as my captain got me 14. So,
14
yeah, he scored a goal.
as your captain.
Yeah, he got me a goal.
As a 14 million pound player, he scored you a goal and got you 14 points. Oh, okay. As a captain.
So, are you happy now? So 42 points.
But you haven't named 11 players, bro.
Alright, bro.
You haven't named 11 players.
What did I forget? Oh, Kluivert. Fuck, I always forget his name. Kluivert? Clavert got me 2 points.
Oh.
Clavert. Yeah, Clavert got me 2 points. That's
Oh,
all. So Clavert,
okay.
2 points.
Oh, that's so interesting.
How was it?
That was interesting. So you took a minus what again for this team?
No, a -4.
You took a -4 for that team. Oh. For 14 points. You took a -4 for 14 points.
Uh-huh.
Man, took points off the. So in reality, Haaland didn't even get 14. He got like 10.
And the sad part is, if I bought in a Langa instead of Kluivert, I would have gotten points. If I bought in,
I told you about. Did I not tell you about Elanga? I literally sat here and I said to you, bruh, Elanga is the way to go forward. I told you, Elanga. I said Fernandes. I literally said all these O's, and you were like,
and Mamouche got more points than Haaland. He got a goal. And
I told you about Mamouche. I told you about Elanga. I told you about Fernandes. If you'd listened to 3, those I literally made those exact 3 things for your team. I told you about those 3 players for your team, and you laughed at me. You laughed
I never laughed at you.
me.
The problem was I already wildcarded them.
Nah, run it back. Nah, run it back. I'm gonna run it back because when I edit this, I'm gonna find a way to bring that clip back in where I tell you about Mamouche, Elanga, and Fernandes.
Hold up. No, you did tell me about it, but I'd already made the transfers beforehand because of price drops. So.
Well, you lost the money anyways.
Sometimes we live and we learn, and I clearly haven't learned. So that's that. So what I have learned is now I'm going to not make poor decisions. That's what I've learned for the final 8 game weeks. Final 8 game weeks, we are back and we are here and we are vibing. So Sid, please go through your team while you get to be Tips gets to be quiet for once in his life.
So guys, how you guys doing? You know, see, man doesn't even want me to be quiet. He starts playing a video. This is how petty this man is. He starts playing a video. Even when I gave him you know what the worst thing is, guys? Before I even go over my team, you know what the worst thing is? When you give a man the keys to success, you give him the keys to the bank, and you know what he says to you? Keep your keys. I'll do better. And then the next thing you see the man out in the street, sweeping it, hustling for some cash, and you're like, but bruh, I gave you everything you need. I know what it feels like to be a father now, even. You know when you're there as a father and you give your child the best education, the best of everything, and then you come out there and your child is still puzzling. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, but I gave you everything. Where is my return on investment? I gave you everything. All you had to do was listen. That's all you had to do. But anyways, you know what? That man didn't listen. It's fine. Let him be.
You good, Sid?
I'm getting there. So I got 45 points this weekend. Raya with 6, Mr. Consistent. Gabriel with 5, Mr. Consistent. Mikalenko with 2, Nico Williams with 1, Lewis with 1, and Poema with 6. Palmer, Palmer, you're done. Don't even worry about coming back to the training ground, let alone the actual football pitch. There's gonna be posters with your name and a picture of you saying you are banned because that's how badly you're not allowed back in this team. You cannot pay your way back in this team. I don't care if you paid me to play, I'd still say no. So you're done, Bruno. You know, Bruno. Me and Bruno, we've had an interesting past. You know, but Bruno, all I have to say is I recognize you. I recognize all the hard work you've been putting in. I recognize the things you've been doing. How you've been carrying teams on your back. How you've been like just taking Man United to the promised land. Taking them to the promised land. You did it against Arsenal. No, United supporters didn't believe you. And then you go and do it again. And you know what? Like I say to Madrid, I'm going to say to you, Hala Fernandez. Hala. Hey! And then Wanieri, my boy Wanieri, you're young and up and coming.
We done now?
I'm not even done. Wanieri, you're up and coming, so I've got no hate against you. Go be great. I'll give you another game week. Because once I know Saka's starting for sure, it's time. The time is up. I've got some extra cash splashing around. It is what it is. And then, Raul Jimenez, just a 2-pointer. Chris Wood with a 4-pointer because he was my captain, but he was injured. I think it's a pretty good game week considering there was so many blanks, and I did well.
Yeah, like the Bruno Fernandez thing will always be the death of me. But Mush, like, if I got him and Bruno and Alanga, or at least Fred Larson or somebody, I probably wouldn't be wildcarding now. I'm like, I have created my own velo. Like I am the biggest problem to my team. That's what's happening. My team wants to succeed, but I don't want it to. So then, I guess So that was a decent week, Sid. But we now have to do our favorite segment of
Before we move on to our favorite segment,
what more do you want to add?
No, I just want to ask you just a general question.
Yeah, ask me a general question then.
What do you think of football these days?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think it's gotten worse or do you think it's gotten better?
Oh, that's actually a tough question. Um, like I think football has changed a lot. I think, I think, I think football has changed a lot where it's now no more about individual players. So like it's very system based. Like that's kind of how you've seen like your Bournemouths and Nottingham Forest and stuff winning and stuff, where now they're taking basic non-entities like Alanga and stuff, and they're making them good players. So it makes it a lot more tactical to watch, but I don't think it makes it entertaining football. So I think football has lost its sense of entertainment. I think that that's what I will say. Now it's more of a chess match than like a fun viewership of programming. So because that's kind of what I've seen from a lot of the top teams. Like no one can say they've watched a Liverpool game that's been exciting this season. It's just they play well and then Salah scores. Like that's kind of the thing. City aren't even good, but even when they were good last season, it was Foden was doing cool stuff, but then it's like, oh, just Holland's in the box. Like you used to call him the box merchant. Like so I think football has there's no more flair. So that's what I will say is I think football has lost its flair and its entertainment value.
But does that make football better or worse? The flair. Like, if okay,
No.
let's put this for example.
Yeah.
Imagine, let's take the City team, right? Because that's probably the gold standard of a team for over 4 seasons, went back to back to back to back. Won a Champions League as well, won FA Cup as well. You know, they've got trophies. You take
Yeah.
that team and you put that up against Fergie or Wenger's invincible team. Like take it and put it against Fergie's treble winning team and Wenger's invincible team. Which of these three teams do you think? Like, do you think? No, no, no. Which three? But do you think that City team would still compete within that competition?
No, so to go into your thing of the reason why no is because what football has now done is people just don't know how to do their job. Like that's a thing of no, I'm being serious. So then it genuinely affects the oh yeah, let's have an inverted right back and an inverted left wing. No, do your job. So then, but so my thing is people are trying to complicate something very very simple, where it's like cool, you have to be the right midfielder. So then you're on the left or right. So you're on the right, and then you right midfield. You track up, you track back, you cross, you shoot, whatever. So now you by complicating it, it's like sometimes you just want to meet somebody and go on a date, or do you want to go through 6 months of courting and different, oh, do they like me? Do you like me? Do they like me? So I think they've made football more complicated. When it's basically if you're a centre back, defend. If you're a goalkeeper, stop the ball from going in the back of the net. None of this arm, a sweeper, left, right, kick, start attacks. So I think due to just the style of player now, because like the player now is more of an athlete because there's a lot more like there's a lot more like medicine and a lot more stuff about health. So I think that the player now will just be better than the player from back then. But if you compared systems of if these old school managers and those teams had all of this current new information in terms of player health and player welfare and stuff, oh, I think the ones back then would absolutely crush them because they know how to do it. I'm like, cool, Roy Keane, you said you're not getting past me. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't care what midfield you have. I don't care what maestro. Nah, you. My point as the midfielder is to stop the ball going through me. If I don't stop the ball, I'm gonna damn well stop you. So then, so in that way, I kind of feel of I just think yeah, in that way I do think it has gotten more complicated where people just don't have a job where people are like systems and whatever. No, you're a midfielder, you get the ball, you create chances for everyone else. Like I do think that that's what. So then that's why I do think that's a detriment. I think it's a detriment to football in general, like for future reference because now there's no more player, there's no more Eden Hazard being like, oh, give Hazard the ball and he's winning us the game. There's no more like Ronaldo, Messi's, or just even Sanchez. Like there's no more blockbuster talents where our highest goal scoring striker this season is Wood. There's none of
So
there's none.
I have a counter to that. I have a counter
Yeah.
to that. Do you not think that like now in the modern day game,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a better spread of talent, therefore it looks like people it looks like there's less talent because back like let's be honest,
Oh,
you and I both come from watching football back in the day where you had Fergie, I had Wenger, I had Henry, you had Beckham, you had Keane, you had, you know what I mean, you had Rooney, all of these guys, right? And that, like, genuinely speaking, if you took those two teams from that era, that's basically the best players in the entirety of the league. You can't, like, when United and Arsenal were going head to head, maybe you'd have one or two outliers outside of those teams who are amazing players. But like
mm-hmm.
when you go like, but what the reality of the situation is, the two teams that are going head to head have the best players in the league. There's no doubt about it. Whereas now you go into this and you've got Marmoush, you've got Haaland, you've got Wood, you've got Isaac, you've got Cunha, you've got like who else? You got Semenyo, you've got Clavert, you've got like you got what's his name? He's
Okay.
also
Yeah. So then, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. That is true. Actually, I think, like I said, I think because of, like I said, of the sports health or sports science of it all, there are a lot more like athletes. So, like, there might not be good football players. I think that that's a lot of the stuff that we found out with United as a lot of the issues is a lot of these people just can't play football. Where I'm like, oh no, they're good athletes. And that's the thing of, but then like yeah, how he was McTominay and Fred a midfield, but don't know how to pass the ball. So I feel like I do think you're right. I just think the if you're doing like the bell curve vibe, I think that like the top range players aren't as elite as the top range players anymore, but like the medium players are just bigger. Like there's a lot more quality premium, like middle range quality. Like even though we talk about all those great teams, you still had like John O'Shea's and Wes Browns and William Gallas's, and like you still had nonsense. You still had
yeah.
you still had your Alexander Shebs just out there doing nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like so, then I think that's why I think it's become less interesting. Is there's no more like premium star players anymore, especially with Salah and stuff leaving. Like now, obviously your Salahs, your De Bruyne's, they're like they aren't coming through. Then the people that are meant to replace them, the Fodens, the Palmers, the Rashfords, like they haven't taken a step up to being that elite player yet. But they're still very good players. But then it makes for at least interesting game to go into your thing of because the top players aren't elite anymore and world class like can be in any team in the world. And the middle class players are just the top players that never made their potential. So now they're just the middle class players. So there's more of that. So then that's why I think it makes it less interesting. But I still think that and it's now about the manager, where Ferguson and Wenger never really had like tactics. Like like they were more of like, oh, they know how to build a team and build a philosophy around players and a chemistry within a team. When now it wasn't like, yeah, this guy does 3-5-2, 4-4. It was more they play the best system to get the most out of the players that they had because they knew that they had really elite level players.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, so then I think it's just an adaptation period where I'm like, there was the thing of tiki taka football where there was no number nines. There was a thing of having a number 10. Like I just think that right now football is in a manager phase where you have to trust into a manager and a system, and a manager has to basically, do you trust that manager for that system? Yeah,
Okay. No, the reason why I asked all of this was because going
yeah,
back to FPL,
yeah, yeah,
when you're looking at FPL, right? Like, I feel like this season has been so difficult because of the fact that there's been so many teams that can do well. It's not been a situation of like where like previous years you've got about two or three teams and you
yeah.
can and you stack your team basically from those two or three teams, and then you'll have like a bench of ridiculously cheap players which you don't really expect to do anything. But like there have been certain points in the season where your bench is stacked, your team is stacked, the team isn't even that expensive, but it's a stacked team. And like you're looking at that, and when you look at like that from that perspective, that's why I feel like fantasy has become so difficult this season. I think it's become a very chop and change. You've got like, and why you're seeing quite a big variance from like team to team also, because you can go like you look, because you know how we normally talk about the template team, right? There's normally
Yeah.
by this stage of the season there's a template team of like seven players that you will have in your team day in and day out. You could literally just have those seven players and you'll be in the top million at this point in the season, and that you'll be fine. Whereas this
Yeah.
season, you can't have the seven because there are more than there is more there's more variety of players to choose from, which is causing the problem of like, because there's more variety, that means there's more chances that it's one player does well and one player doesn't do that well in a weekend, and then
No, no,
how it affects the rankings and that sort of thing.
no, that's perfectly no, that's actually very true. Where, like for this season, and you've seen it, where I'm like, the three relegation teams. Let's just leave that aside. Like those teams are done. Then Liverpool are done. Then like it's still like from 2 to like 8, all of them can make the top 5. You know what I said? From 2 to 8, they can all make the top 5, and then from 17 to 10, oh, it's like 6 points, like difference between all of them. So I'm like, everyone is there is no good teams because, like you said, what we used to do is like our proverbial top six from past times. You know that we're like, cool, we're gonna pick we're gonna pick 7 to 8 players from that top six, that usual top six. Then we're gonna sprinkle in, like your very like like your stoical, like your team that has a very good defense. That's going to be at the bottom half. You'll stick them in. Then you'll stick in, that middle of the thing. They striker, because that'll be a second or third point striker. Then you just have a midfielder that can play, and then that's kind of how your team would operate for FPL. But in this season, like you said, and how I've done well is it's always on fixture swings. Where this season is actually not about players; it's about picking, because everyone can beat everybody. Because everybody can beat everybody. It's all about picking teams that have good fixtures this season, which is how like I was growing up. I'm like, hey, fixture swing, cool greatness. You just had to ride the wave, and also believe in Salah. Like that. That's kind of the only thing you've had to do this season. So that is true. Where that has made it hard this season. Where I decided early I was gonna do fixture swings, but that's kind of how it's always gone. Where now it's not about the team, because usually we're like, oh, this team's playing this team, so that would be a tough fixture. No one's telling you Chelsea's a tough fixture, even though they're going for top. No, but I know you're saying this, but Chelsea's a team that has a very good chance of making Europe. You know what I said? People are like, oh, Man City's a tough fixture. You've had Rico Lewis. There's no clean sheet that Man City can keep. You know, those are usual standards. those are usual standards that you had of, oh, these are tough. No, you can go to City and score 2 goals. Let it go. So you've had to change your perspective and how you look at fantasy this season, and genuinely just go for fixtures, because player teams, unless it's Liverpool, and Liverpool, I've had Trent. There's also, I've never seen a clean sheet. I don't know what it looks like, Sid. So that has made fantasy tough this season, where it is basically you have to trust the teams that are in form. It's very form based, and it's very, like when you had Welbeck, that 7 week spell was amazing.
Yeah.
Has done nothing for the rest of the season. No, well, because he's not injured. I still see him running around in the field. So it's
Yeah.
not like he's injured. You know what I said? But then he had a good set of fixtures. His team was in form. So he was the correct player. And I think that that's what's made this season different from other seasons. Of no, if you don't pick a player in form, like Wood, surprisingly, has been the most consistent.
No,
But
exactly. But that's exactly what I'm getting at. Is like now we're getting to a point now where we're gonna start discussing wild cards and like also our segment of like trust. I mean trust, believe, call up, strike three, you're out. That's that segment. And just
yeah,
before we started that segment, I just wanted to like kind of broach into the topic of like for the general FPL player or general FPL players, like why has it been so difficult, and why as well? What is the thought process you kind of need to have to be able to go into these last 8 game weeks to maximize that rank, especially with the idea of because they're gonna be it's not just gonna be you. There's gonna be a lot of people wildcarding this week for
or
the
next,
team or next week,
yeah,
and like so going into the next 8 games, you have to have the idea of like, well, okay, how do I make sure that I can capitalize on the final 8 games? Because there's going to be doubles, there's going to be bench boosts, there's going to be triple captains, there's going to be a wild card, there's also going to be a free hit that you have to hit. So there's so many different things you're going to have to hit to maximize the 8 game weeks. Like in totality, you only have 4 game weeks without chips. If you've like kind of like four to
yeah,
five
like
game
five.
weeks without chips. So like in reality, so that you need to have that like. So this is why I wanted to have this conversation because I wanted to know like how like obviously this whole channel is for helping people do better at FPL, and so like when you're looking at the upcoming fixtures and your upcoming team, upcoming wildcards, what am I actually gonna do to create that wildcard that gives me the best success? Like how do I make sure that like also to go and choose because like we said to go and choose a whole new team at this point in the season is actually a very difficult thing because you don't know how to like you don't know who's gonna
Oh,
bang
no,
and who's not gonna bang. Like you got people coming
no,
back
no,
from
like, yeah,
injuries.
this wild card has been stressful for me. Like like obviously we'll go through it when we go through it, but like even right now, like only have like 4 people are still debating. Like so, I haven't like ever go. Yeah, so that is true, and I think that this is the time where you have to. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, actually, I have nothing with that. Everything you said is correct, and it's like very difficult to decide what to do in
Exactly.
this situation.
So that's why I was like, it's a good idea to get like that psyche across of like, okay, cool. Now we're going into the final 8 games. How are we planning? Like Tib said, look at the fixture swings, look at the player form. Because now we've just had international break as well. So you've seen a lot of the players perform on international break, which gives a bit of a it gives it gives a little bit of a hint of what that form might carry over into like Bruno did well, Hoyland did well as well. I'm just going off of, like United players. Miles Lewis Skelly did well for
Oh yeah,
England.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. And Alanga did well for Nottingham Forest. Mamush did well for City with his
so,
goal
yeah,
against.
and then now we also know that like Haaland is injured, so Marmoush is gonna be that main outlet. And anyways, we've been seeing Marmoush as the main outlet. Now with Haaland gone, does that make Marmoush less of a viable option? We don't know. But like the reality is, when you're going and choosing that wild card, I think it's better for like for especially from our perspective, we can give you a wildcard template we're more than capable of giving you what we think is the perfect wildcard template. But I'm just trying to get the explanation of the wildcard template across of like how it goes through, and like yeah,
Oh
so
yeah, no, yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah, because like now, like you'll see, I actually had so much money left in the bank, and I decided to spend it. I decided to spend it frivolously. So that's how I set up. But it's not. My team isn't finished. Don't worry, my team isn't finished. But I did spend it frivolously. But yeah, no. So then that is a very good way to look at it. Where when you are looking at your team, don't be concerned if your only premium is Salah. Is what I'm saying from the situation
yeah,
where you've seen how this whole season's gone is like yeah that Palmer was also hot for like 10 game weeks and then he's been not hot for like since we've owned him for the past like 8 game weeks.
yeah,
So there's no more price indicator, there's no more teams that you have to own, there's none of that. There's basically you need to start looking at teams and also if you're going to look at the team also then look at um the players because Muniz is scored in the past 6 game weeks the most from a defender. But Crystal Palace have only kept 3 clean sheets in the past 6 games. But Crystal Palace have been attacking wise from the fullback position doing well, even if they're only getting. But then no one would be like, oh, let's get a Crystal Palace defender. No, it's not about getting a Crystal Palace defender. It's about getting Muniz. Like, so you have to kind of look at it like that type of situation of it's not like cool. I need this person. I need this team's defense. A Man United defender, let's say. No, you must go for Dallo because Dallo is playing left wing or whatever on the field. So I think in this season, it's not more about, oh, we're going to get a player from this team and we can maybe get another player to cover this player's points. This season, it's more, you have to get certain players, like you're naming all the players that people are doing well. It's about getting those players. Liverpool are top of the league, but you could only get Salah. It's not about getting a Diaz or Nunez or what's the name, Cody Gakpo to like make up. No, if you had to get Salah. So this season, it's not about going for teams and fixtures. It's about going for specific players that are gonna perform because every team is sadly gonna score and every team is gonna concede. So you have to go for specific players. So if any advice for your wild card, don't look at oh my god, this team is good fixtures. No, you have to look at the players from the team because every team is going to score and every team is going to concede. But you have to get the certain players that will get you the most points. I think that's what this season has been different in fantasy compared to other seasons.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
let's
There we go. We're back. Yeah, we're back to call up, trust, believe, and strike three. You're on. So Tibbs, I wouldn't even lie to you. Hey, Tibbs not even in a call up, fam. Tibbs is holding. Tibbs holding a rally. Even they're not even doing a call up. I'm not even. I'm not even a call. I'm doing a group call in this motherfucker. That's what I'm doing. So I'm doing a group call where I'm literally I'm like, if we on a WhatsApp group, holla at your boy. So I'm just putting a blank straight call up where I'm like, I will be here at this day. You are invited to the party, or you can eat. So that's what call up is basically who you're trying to call up, and so you're trying to call up everybody. So I'm trying to call up mom, sister, cousin, childhood best friend, bring it all down. Call up is the person you're trying to ring to make a change. Trust, there are very few people I'm trusting. So trust because everyone's let me down, but trust the people that are in your team that you're choosing to believe in. And I can tell you, few and far between because they have been letting me down this game week. I believe nobody because nobody is still in my team. Well, but at strike three, you're out is to the 10 players because I've made 10 changes so far, possibly more to my team. So there are only about 5 people left. So strike three, you're out. 10 of you have left my team.
Okay. Okay.
So I won't go through all my call-ups because obviously I'll go through my team afterwards. But my main person, let me look at my team because yeah. So yeah, who you gonna call? Oh yeah, who you calling up for because Palmer? You said Palmer wasn't gonna be your guy.
Yeah, Palmer's not my guy. Like, hey,
Then who you looking to call up?
uh so my thing is I want Saka.
Yeah.
I do want Saka, but I don't know if Saka's gonna start just yet. So Waneri's staying in the team. But with Waneri staying in the team, that means there's no space for that extra Arsenal player. Because I already have two Arsenal defenders. So when I'm
Mhm.
looking at that scenario, in terms of midfield, I'll be honest. I don't want to do it to you, but I'm gonna do it to you. I'm probably going with Elanga just for a 1 week punt to
Yeah,
allow.
I would play Man United. So
Yeah, exactly. They're playing United, so I don't know what United we're gonna get. Um,
even me, I don't know.
it could be a very fire United, or it could be a very fire Forest team, and Ilanga could do bits. Um, and I don't mind that. To be honest, I don't mind it because I also will have Bruno, and I will have Salah. So hey, it is what it is.
No, that's
And
fair.
I
Yeah,
need at least I one thing I realized I do need at least one bench player or two bench
right.
players
Just
playing just in case. So and I don't want to play. To be honest, I really don't want to play Rico Lewis. Like I
no,
don't
you
want.
playing Leicester.
So what? It's still not gonna give me. So what? Like I honestly can see West Ham beating City.
Oh no, no, I don't think that. But
Leicester,
oh, they're gonna
Leicester. Sorry,
concede.
Leicester. Sorry, Leicester. I can see Leicester
Yeah,
beating
no,
City.
I don't. Yeah, but I think they still concede. They will concede. That's that. That's an easy yes, no.
So what am I gonna do with Lewis in my team? Just what am I gonna do
I'm,
with this man? Because the man doesn't
I'm
even
just
get 2 points. He gets like a point.
I'm just making statements. That's what I'm saying. But yes, but yeah, look for a good bench player, and yeah, that's a good bench player. So for me, I have a lot of call-ups, but like I don't want to put them all on. I can't put them all on my gram. You know what I said of. So I have to keep some people private. But the people that I would say I would call up is Mamush. So then he is the striker that I would yes, I'll give two strikers, a midfielder, and a defender. So the two strikers, I'll definitely say are Mamush and Mateta. Yeah, Mateta came back from injury over the international breaks. That was good for him. He played in the FA Cup. Crystal Palace won. Mateta has a double game week happening next game week, and he might, depending on fixture restrictions, he might also have a double in game week 33. So he might have double, and yeah, he is the penalty taker for Crystal Palace team that are in form. He's a center striker. He could share minutes with Nketiah, but like really. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So and then before he got injured, Mateta was banging to form. So it's not saying a and this is what I said of. I know Crystal Palace are doubling, but I'm saying Mateta, and then if you want to triple up because they might double, then you have to then look at obviously I said Mateta and Muniz because Muniz has been on form, Mateta because he's on penalties and he's a center forward. Then you can look at Sa or Eze, but you have to. But that's just depends on your team structure. So that's definitely there. And then the other striker I definitely recommend is. Oh yeah, I see. I'm a Mushin Meteta. Yeah, I did say that. I'm Mushin Meteta. Yeah. Then in defense, it would be Muniz and Kirkes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
those are the
So
people that I look call up. Yeah.
you trust?
Um, who's actually in my team from the beginning? I'm trying to. So I'm choosing to trust in Gabriel. Oh, that's actually the man. Gabriel still gets his stay of execution. Like Arsenal are also we obviously we can't confirm. That's why we want mental wild card this game week. But Arsenal are also likely to double in game week 33 because they have Real Madrid in the Champions League. So it's very unlikely that their fixture getting rearranged is going to happen late in the season in case they somehow pull a rabbit out the hat and they're going to still be in Europe. So then their
Hala
rematch
Madrid,
fix.
bruh. Hala Madrid.
No,
Hala
no, no, I believe in
Madrid,
you. Don't worry.
bruh.
I
Hala
believe in you.
Madrid.
Don't worry. Don't
Hala
worry.
Madrid,
So,
bruh.
so Arsenal are looking like they are going to double in game week 33. Um, Gabriel has been, like I said, of if you've had Saliba or if you've had Timber or you've had Calamari, you know, they haven't been good Arsenal assets, even though Arsenal are the second best defense in the league. Gabriel has been the main asset to have for Arsenal. So I'm not saying get an Arsenal defender. I'm saying I'm trusting in Gabriel. That's who I'm choosing to trust in. So Gabriel is the one that I trust in. Because, yeah, Arsenal are second best defense in the league. They have a double coming up. And he scores some hitters. We just need Saka back to just hand him those corners again. And then we're back. We're back, baby. Who
Yo,
you trusting, Sid?
my trust is, to be honest, it's a very slim list for this game week. It's a very,
Hey, man,
very
it's rough
slim
out here,
list
man.
just for this game week. But my trust is gonna go into Salah, right? They're playing. He's playing against Everton this week. It's a derby. Um, a part of me also is like I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm gonna say it out loud anyways. A part of me thinks Liverpool might bottle this league.
Okay, whoa. Relax now. Okay, Sid, this is not the time. I will say that when we get into hindsight as foresight, I think Liverpool are bottling this game. Right there, I'll tell you that. The league, nah, Sid, nah. I don't. That seems like tactics.
I'm feeling after getting knocked out of Champions League, then losing the Carabao Cup. They literally got out of 3 cups in 3 weeks, bro.
And also the way that both Newcastle and PSG outplayed them. It wasn't even like, oh no, they lost. Oh no, they deserve to lose. Like they deserve to lose. But the league, I'm like, nah. And the reason why is just no other team is making a run. I think that that's the issue of if there was a city from over yonders where we know January time comes, Pep is like, hey, shut up shop. Woo woo. Guys, 1-0 is we're going 1-0 until the end of the season. If that city was still around, I think Liverpool are definitely bottoming this league. Liverpool are definitely gonna bottle this league. But you made a prediction saying Arsenal will not lose another game in the league this season. So if you guys do your thing, Sid, hey now, hey now, this is what dreams could be made of. And our first season, our beginning of the season prediction of Arsenal winning the league can come true.
I don't know if that's the. You're twisting my words.
I'm not.
I didn't say.
I never
I
twisted
didn't
no
say
words.
Arsenal winning the
I was
league.
agreeing with you.
I didn't say. Nah. Why
Why
you
not?
putting
Why
words?
not? I was
Get
agreeing.
your damn words out my mouth, man.
I'm agreeing
Get
with
your
you.
damn words out my mouth because you're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say
I'm agreeing.
Arsenal winning the league. There is Forest as well.
Hey, Forest is Foresting. They are Foresting.
Exactly. Arsenal at this point they've checked out. I don't think they'll lose a game this season, but it doesn't mean they're not going to draw 90% of the games for the rest of the season.
Sid, I'm just saying what you wanted me to say. That's all I'm doing. I am being your voice, your vocal piece. That's what you want to say, but your heart just won't let you say it. So I can see what's in your heart, Sid. So I'm going to say it for you. But I do think Liverpool will bottle this game, which is like a reason why I might not captain Salah, but then I probably will end up captaining Salah just because everyone in the game is going to, so I might as well.
Well,
But
yeah, I think that's why I say okay. So that's why I say trust in Salah, and then onto our believe.
yeah, so
I'm gonna believe in. That's where I believe in Gabriel.
okay.
That's where I
So
believe in Gabriel. I don't need to trust. I believe.
okay. So believe is like I said, like usual. Believe is when only you can see the vision. You know, just like Yu-Gi-Oh, only you believe in the heart of the cards. Everyone else is not those cards. I'm like, hey, but when Yugi believed in the heart of his cards, you always pick the right one. No one else could see what Yugi saw. So that is what belief is in my heart of hearts. So in my wild card, there's one man I am choosing to believe in. And this man makes zero sense. So he might not stay. But the person I am choosing to believe in is the PFA Player of the Year last season, Philip Jane Foden. Let's go. I will say I'm caveating this of I'm only have Foden because I want someone in that price range to then be able to go to Saka. So that's the actual reason why Foden is in the team. Of he's actually if they announce today that Saka's in training and he's gonna be on the
He is
field.
in training. He is
I
in
know,
training.
but if they announce he's like he's gonna be on the
He no.
field
He announced in a
this
press
week.
con. He
Yeah.
announced in a press conference Saka
Okay.
might start.
Oh, okay. Then it's gonna be Saka. Okay. Then to answer your question, it's then Saka. But I like obviously because I did this team on the week on Sunday once I saw Holland came down with injury, so I haven't listened to this week, so I haven't changed it from yesterday. But I will say that Foden is there because I don't trust Palmer for shit. I'd rather have someone new hurt my team. So I'd rather have someone new hurt my team. But that is Saka's position that I'm just, just keeping it warm. So I'm gonna. So then that's who I believe
Fair enough. And
in. Then strike
strike
three.
three, you're out. I think we both
I,
can say this together. I think we can both
how?
say no. I
Yeah.
think we can both say it together on
Cool.
the count of
2,
three.
3.
Palmer.
Palmer. Let's go. And the thing is, it's not even Kate is Palmer's fault because he's been trash. But like, because now he's missing penalties. Where I'm like, that's the one thing you could do. Like, that's the only thing. You know what I said? Like last season, Palmer also like he had some good games, yeah. But everybody knew, I cool. Jackson's gonna get fouled in the box. So like, whoop whoop, easy, easy 5 points, 2 bonuses. Let's go. But now Palmer's even missing penalties. So there's absolutely and he was injured, like he got had to withdraw from the England squad. So then he was injured. He is obviously in training, but we don't know if he's gonna make the game because Chelsea still have to win Europe. They still have a top four race. So I'm like, are you gonna rush back the only hope that your team has of winning? I wouldn't do that if I was them. And also we've owned Palmer for the past like what 8 game weeks, and it's been tiresome. He's been on believe on a lot of segments. He has been on the chopping block for a lot of segments, but now you are the weakest link.
Goodbye.
That's especially with Saka being back, so yeah. So I think that that's an easy strike three out. I also think that Wood is a strike three out, just because Isaac, Mateta, and Watkins are all having double game weeks coming up, where Wood doesn't. Mamush is around. He also has a double game week coming up with Haaland being out injured. So then that means he's gonna get more game time, And if Wood wasn't even in the squad for the FA Cup game this weekend, they're playing tomorrow on Tuesday. So if we never made the squad on Saturday, will he be ready by Tuesday? And then there's also a game week on Saturday. So I think it's elementary, my dear Watson, that I think that although you've been a great servant, like I said, it's not about player power anymore. There are players that have better fixtures and are in form. So I think that Wood is somebody that you should consider letting go of.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Yeah. So then now we can go into our hindsight is foresight, where we make predictions of the game week fixtures this game week. This game week starts on our April Fool's Day, first of April. So we're gonna be here. The first game that we have is Arsenal versus Fulham. This is a London derby. This is a great time to be alive. Because Arsenal at home, and I think Arsenal are gonna come through with a young casual 2-0. Let me 2-1, 2-1. Let me go 2. No 2-0, 2-0. A young casual 2-0. I think Arsenal are refreshed. You know, the return of Saka, the star boy is gonna bring back, gonna bring back that sprinkle, he's gonna bring back that star power, and Arsenal are gonna start on their writer's rain trip as they go towards winning the Champions League and the league all in one season. Arteta in. What? So 2-0 Arsenal.
I say 1-1 draw.
Okay.
I say it's a 1-1 draw.
You think Emil Smith Rowe is gonna come back to haunt his former club? Him and Awobi are just gonna be like, "Oh, you thought you were better without us? You thought you were better without us? We gonna show you." Leno, the
If it was a top six team, I'd have more chest. But I think it's a 1-1 draw.
no, that makes sense. Like, this is Arsenal's B team. Leno, Leno, Awobi, Emil Smith Rowe. They're all gonna come out. I don't know if Willian still plays for them. I don't think so.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're gonna come back and being like, "You guys thought you were better without us. We're gonna show you who we are." That's not a bad thing. I don't think it'll be like if Saka comes back. I definitely think and starts. I definitely think Arsenal will have too much. So then that's my thing of. So that's what I'm going to. That's I think I'll go 2-1. Actually, not 2-0, but the 1-1 draw I think is possible.
Yeah,
So we have Wolves versus West Ham. Now this I don't know, right?
I know.
Because
I know what's happening. I'm telling you right now, I know what's happening here.
okay,
West Ham beat Wolves 3-1.
I don't think it'll be three. I think it'll be like a 1-0. Like I'm not like Wolves are bad because trust me, I've had Wolves players, so I know they're bad. So Wolves are bad, but I just think West Ham just don't have strikers.
They don't
Obviously
need a
Antonio,
striker.
huh?
They don't need a striker.
But I'm just saying,
They
yeah.
don't need a striker. Like genuinely
Oh, to
don't
beat
need
Wolves.
Wolves.
No, no,
Wolves will put the ball in the back of the net for them.
yeah, no, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. That's what I said. I said to make it like a 3-1. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, I can tell you that they're gonna win. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. I believe in the Potter magic. You know what I said? Like Graham Potter has done well for this team actually since he's taken over. Like they haven't been amazing, but he's done well. I think it's going to be a 1-0 to West Ham. But yeah, Wolves would, if there were any good relegation teams, Wolves would genuinely be going down, and Wolves will go down next season because yeah, apparently Cunha wants to leave the club, and without Cunha, yeah, Wolves would be with the rest of the the rest of the pack at the bottom.
Yeah, I back
Now we
that.
have an issue because we have Anthony Alanga returning.
To
Oh,
the theater of nightmares.
so now I don't know what to say. That's what I said. So
Two
if
two
I'm
draw.
being I think it'll be a 1-1 draw, actually. Let me go
Like,
1-1.
it's a draw, but I'm hoping a 2-2 draw with a goal and assist from Bruno Fernandes.
Actually, Nottingham Forest win 1-0. Actually, you know what? Nottingham Forest win 1-0. I don't want. See, so that's what you've done. You've got me rooting against my own team. That's what you've done.
Well, you can
You've
have.
got me.
You're putting Bruno in your team. Why are you lying? Why are you pretending like you're not even? You don't even have Bruno in that team right now.
I don't.
What?
But I can't get him for Foden. Like, because I'm not excited for Foden, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not excited for Foden.
I
So,
don't know.
so
I don't know.
that, now, if I'm honest, I did think Nottingham Forest will actually win 2-1. Actually, let me go there. Honestly, I think Nottingham Forest. Oh, wait, no, Wood's out. Wait, actually,
2-2 draw.
Man United win 2-1. Let's actually double down. Man, Un- um, Man United win 2-1. Let's go. Actually, I'm back. I'm back. I forgot what is out. I'm like, let's go. 2-1 United. We are gonna we're making United great again. Let's go. I'm here for it now. Man United 2-1. Man United 2-1.
Okay. Bournemouth Ipswich. We know what. We don't even need to talk about this.
Like
You don't
I,
even
I'm,
need to
I'm
talk
so
about
happy
this.
how we picked. I'm so happy how we picked Bournemouth last time, and I'm very happy to do it again. Ipswich, especially away from home, like at home, they might cause you some trouble, but away from home, you know, they don't
3-1.
like leaving their mother. They don't like leaving their mother's cooking. They're just out here having takeout every night. I'm like, it's not conducive to a sustainable life. It's not good for them. Bournemouth actually been in good form. I think Bournemouth won this 3-1.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree
3
with you.
0, 3 0, 3 0, 3 0. Yeah, 3 0.
Okay, even yeah, I'd even accept that.
Yeah.
Brighton Villa win.
Yeah, 2-1 Villa.
Yeah, it's a close game. 2-1 Villa. Um, City Leicester draw.
3-1 City.
Nah, I go draw.
3-1. Nah, 3-1, 3-1 City. 3-1 City. Because,
1-1.
and here's why. Like, I'm not just saying that for the sake of saying it. The one thing Ruud van Nistelrooy does do is he tries to attack, which is kind of the problem because they don't defend. But because he tries to attack, I think that will play into City's hands rather than trying to stop City from attacking. Because City have shown once you try to stop them, they can't. They can't really break down the team, especially with Haaland up front, because yeah, they obviously just block the channels into Haaland, and Haaland isn't good at building up play. So I definitely think that now that Mamush is more of a creative nine than Haaland, and he runs in behind the lines, I think he'll be able to link up with players a little bit more and be in like positions to receive the ball that aren't always in the box. So
I would
I
agree
just
with you. I would agree with you if Haaland was fit. But Haaland's not fit, and I think that'll affect Mamouche's game quite a bit because I think they look like the way City set up is to have
yeah,
the
Haaland draw the defenders that he runs
draw
in behind.
everybody, and Mamouche gets to play in the box, and that's
Yeah,
why
okay.
you're getting Mamouche also doing bits as a
Yeah,
striker.
no, I get you. No, I get you. I get you. No,
And
that's fair. I just don't think. I think that how Rude tries to play out from the back and tries to play with the ball, I think that that will be walking right into Man City's hands. So
let's see. I say it's a 1-1 draw.
I said 3-1 City.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle Brentford. That's actually going to be an interesting game.
Go for Newcastle. Newcastle 2-1.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it, Newcastle
Yeah,
being 2-1.
yeah. Like they
It's
one
gonna.
of
I
like
still think it's gonna be close. No matter even a 2-1, it's a close game. It's not gonna be
oh, yeah.
a complete walk. Um,
Yeah, no,
Southampton. Yeah. Sorry, you were
oh yeah, no, I
saying.
was gonna say like there's not gonna be like a hangover from like winning the League Cup with like, oh, we've won the cup, now we can go on like on the beach and camp because yeah, Newcastle's even though they qualified for the Europa League by winning the League Cup, they still have a chance to make top four slash top five, depending on how the Champions League draw happens next season. So
No,
I
well,
think Newcastle.
it's official that top five gets you Champions League this season.
Ah, yes, it's official. Yes, so top five. So yeah, they're still fighting for that. So they have stuff to play for. So that's also why I think Newcastle will win too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
South
Southampton, Crystal Palace. Yeah, another like 3-0. Like yeah, another 3-0. Nothing to write home about. Southampton can't stop a call right now.
hmm, fair, and then Liverpool Everton. Hey, at home.
Honestly, heart of hearts, this is a 1-1 draw. Not even, I'm not even mincing words. This is got a one. And I'm going to tell you this City, Everton. Let me actually do this. If this works, it's great. This is going to be a prediction, not a spoiler. Everton are going to go ahead 1-0, and Liverpool are going to score like a goal on the 85th to 90 something minute just to equalize. That's how the game's going to go. We
I go the
saw it here.
complete opposite direction.
What is
As
it?
Everton score, Liverpool don't.
That also can happen.
I think Everton score in the first half. Liverpool try for a whole half, can't break them down, end up with 1-0 because at the same time, complacency has grown in that team. They're out of all the cups, so they don't worry not worried about the cups. They think they know they're like 16 points ahead, so they can afford to lose games. They don't care. 1-0.
Oh yeah, yeah. So 1-0, 1-1. Both of us not going for a Liverpool win in the Merseyside derby. Then our final game. I actually don't care about this. These are two teams that I actually. I didn't look now. These these are the most chacharach teams like. I can tell you that we could say any result right now, and that would be the scoreline. Like, so you can say whatever you want. The only thing you can't say is 0-0. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that you cannot allow. Because both of these teams are not calamitous. They are childish at the back. Now, up front, they are they're not, you know, they are blunt. They're a spoon. Not even like a blunt knife. They're a spoon up front.
But
That's how
this is why I'm gonna say one is sharper than the other, and that's Tottenham. I honestly think Tottenham go and score 4 goals. I really think Tottenham go and score 4 goals this weekend. If you want a Spurs player, this is the time to have a Spurs player. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think if you want a Brendan Johnson, you want a Son, you want a I don't know who from Spurs, go buy them for a 1 week punt.
I in my heart of hearts, I honestly don't know. Like, if I would hazard a guess, it's gonna be 2-2. If I had to hazard a guess,
Nah, I think it's 4-1.
but
Ange
I
Ball's
honestly
different.
think
Ange
I
Ball's
can trust
different.
Solanke to put a shot away. No, that's no like I'm trying to agree with you. Like, I can trust Solanke. Like, he's not great, but if you give Solanke a chance, which you know he's gonna get because he's playing Chelsea, I trust him to finish. I don't trust Nkunku or Neto or Sancho or Enzo Fernandez to actually had Tottenham win 2-3-1 even. That's not 2-1. Yeah, actually right. You've convinced me where I'm like, I could see some Tottenham players scoring. I can't name you one Chelsea player that's going to get
Is
goals.
considering Palmer's also not gonna be on the field. Nah,
Yeah. I
nah.
can't I can't I can't give you one, Sid. I can't give you one. I also can't give you a Tottenham player who I trust to score. But if I had to do trust one team over the other team, I would trust Kulusevski and Solanke and Madison more than I trust anyone on the Chelsea team to score. So I actually think 2-1, but yeah, you can go 3-1, 4-1. But I can tell you that this is going to be either the most boring, non-tactical players don't know what they're doing on the field game, or it's just going to be a gold rush of goals, and it's going to be a great
Yep.
game. All right, so uh, do you want to go through what transfers you're thinking of making while I go through? Well, I discuss my wildcard team after you, and I discuss what I'm gonna.
I mean, there's only one transfer I'm thinking of making is Cole Palmer out and possibly um I don't know who exactly will come in. Maybe Elanga. I'm gonna go for like a 1 week punt on a random player. I'll be
Okay,
honest, it's just a 1 week punt until I know, or if I find out that news. If
Foden.
if I no, not a chance. If I find out, I think it's a stupid idea to buy Foden. Man can't hit the side of a barn door, bro. Like even you, we just had this whole conversation about choosing players who are in form. They,
Yeah, I know.
we literally just had this whole conversation about choosing. I would rather choose Semenyo. I would rather choose because you got like that Bournemouth fixture, which is gonna be a vibey fixture for a 1 week punt. You could choose Semenyo. You could
You can do
choose
Sar's also in good form for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, you can choose Saw. You can choose for Brighton. Maybe no, maybe not Brighton. Never mind about Brighton. But yeah, like they even maybe a Newcastle midfielder.
Yeah, but Gordon's injured. That's the thing. Of Gordon got injured on international break, so then that's kind of why.
Yeah, I know. I know Gordon was injured in international break, but I'm saying you might go with Tenali. Might go with Murphy
Jacob
because
Murphy's not bad. Yeah, Murphy's not looking bad.
go with Bruno. Maybe I have a Bruno Gamarish and a Bruno Fernandes, and I just double it up with the Bruno squid.
Oh, everybody loves Bruno. Look at that.
But
Okay, that's it.
like I said, that's you could even go for a Soboslai. You could even go for, bruh, I mean, there's just other players I'd rather go for that I
Even
think
Bowen,
could,
you could even go for a Bowen against
yeah,
Wolves.
you can go for a Bowen, like
Against Wolves, it's not a
yeah,
bad
and
shot.
even a United, like you can go from, bro. There's enough. Don't worry. I'm not worried. I'm not
Alright,
worried.
yeah, yeah, you'll figure it out. Yeah, so then my wildcard team
Oh,
at the
there's
moment.
also sorry. There's also freaking wait. Hold on. I have one more person to shout out. You can go for a Morgan Gibbs White. You can go for Ryan Yates. Like yeah,
Yeah, especially for you because you're planning on obviously wildcarding next game week. So
yeah.
um, this is just a 1 week putt. So literally go with whoever your heart swells for. You know, whoever gives you them butterflies in your heart that you believe will be able to really be a very good points merchant for one final game week. Try to pick somebody that's playing one of the bottom three teams or Wolves, just because they concede a hell of a lot. You could even go for your Spurs midfielder, like Sid said. So you can look at a Madison, a Kulusevski, or a Brennan Johnson. So yeah, so then there's our players you can look for. For me, I obviously decided to wildcard. So there are about 4 or 5 of these players that probably won't be here by the time the game week kicks off. But because I did this in a heat and a rush yesterday before price rises happened. But my wild card at the moment, and then I'll go through it. I have in goal, I have Raya and Cells. So the reason why I have those two is I have Raya. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going for dumb things. So people are like, oh my god, City have a double, and they're like, yeah, Aston Villa have a double, yeah, but they don't keep a clean sheet. So like my thing is, I'm now being more logical in how I go about. going for fixtures. So that's why I have Raya and Sels because they are the two best defenses in the league. The two best defenses in the league with Nottingham Forest making the FA Cup semi-final. That means that they're going to double later on in the season in game week 36 roundabout. So I don't want to make a keeper transfer because we only have 8 game weeks left. So I don't think I want to spend a transfer on a keeper. So instead of trying to target Chacharach, because they're doubling, I'm like, no, they're just getting 4 points. If my keeper gets a clean sheet, they outscore that keeper that has double fixtures. So Raya and Sells are my two keepers that I'm going to go in with for the rest of the season. Obviously, like I said, I trust my boy Gabriel. He's around. You know, my boy Munez, Santiago, he's out here. Um, then it gets a bit tricky. So, like I said, if I'm going for players that I know, Kirkes is another player. He's gotten quite a few assists lately, and Bournemouth have shown to be been a very decent defense in the league so far. And Kirkes is the best attacking prodigy from that defense. Also have a really good fixture this game week against Ipswich. Then I do have Guardiola, where that is me genuinely just gonna rely on attacking intent. I'm not even I'm not even gonna be stupid about it. To show I have money, I'm like I have Guardiola just for the fact of he has a double coming up, and he does have attacking returns from the season. Then I just have Livramento just there for Newcastle's double that's going to happen next week, just so I have him on the bench ready to come in and save the day. Then at the moment, I have Saw. It is a choice between Saw and Eze. I picked Saw just because Saw's had more minutes than Eze recently. So Saw's like Eze's always, if something goes wrong, is the first one to get subbed. There's less options there for than Saw. Saw's had a pretty good game week the past 3 game weeks. I've owned him. So and he's slightly cheaper than Eze, so that's also a thing. I've gone for Jacob Murphy as my Newcastle midfielder. So I know Sid said a Newcastle midfielder, but Jacob Murphy is the right-sided midfielder in a really potent attack. He's not going to be rotated. Gordon is obviously. I would probably have gone for Gordon, but he got injured, so I think that Jacob Murphy is the guy. Um, then I have my boy. You always relate his name, Klufeld. I always say his name wrong. Clavert,
Clavert. Clay?
Clavert,
There we go.
Clavert for the same reason of he's number 10 on penalties. He's up against Ipswich. Bournemouth still have good fixtures going forward. Then it's Saka slash Foden. So then I also still have Saka slash Foden in my team. Then up front, it's Mamush, Isaac, and Mateta.
Interesting.
So
No Salah.
all of them, huh?
No
Oh,
Salah.
and Salah, obviously, and Salah. Sorry, and Salah.
I was just about to be
I
like,
feel like
yo,
I
man
thought
is
that's a
going
given.
on bold play. No Salah,
I'm like,
what's.
I thought that was a given. I thought that was a standard. I thought that was the standard. But then yeah, so I got obviously Isaac and Mateta are penalty takers. They're both doubling next week. Mateta might double again the week after that. Obviously, we'll find out more information next week. So standard procedure for both of them to be there, and then yeah, Mamush just because yeah, he's also doubling possibly in game week 33. They're playing less this game week. He's a center forward. Wood is injured. Otherwise, my boy would be vibing. So I think my bench. That's everyone. Yeah, because I never said a bench or start lineup. So that's just everyone. Where I've catered my team to attacking this game week, but then also knowing that there are doubles in 32, and that some people are possibly doubling. We don't know yet for game week 33, and then I'm gonna free hit game week 34 if these players aren't gonna be there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, there's still some, there's still like 3 or 4 players that probably will change depending on what I do now. But that's the spine of the team, and I'm pretty happy.
Okay, I back that team. It
Yeah,
sounds like a
and
good team.
Not gonna. Right now, I'm leaning towards not captaining Salah, but I will confirm how I feel in the morning.
I'm captaining Salah.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but um, yeah, there's decisions that have to be made, and I'm gonna consider it.
Okay. Well, I think
All
that
right.
wraps up this episode then.
Oh no, it's been a great episode, guys. Good luck for this game week. We are in the official end game now. It is time to make our comebacks, and it's time to take the bull by the horns. So, like I said, thank you for this great episode. My name is Tibbs from the FPL Diamond Dogs.
My name's Sid,
And remember, we're number one in the field.
and number one in your hearts.